I never miss an opportunity to tell you that Scott Boras is one of the worst agents and people I've come across. I never miss an opportunity to tell you what Boras did with Jose Fernandez. I never miss an opportunity to tell you that the way Boras handles owners and free agents and the way he does his scrums at the GM meetings and the winter meetings, the way he dealt with the recent collective bargaining agreement, I never miss an opportunity to give you facts about Boras. Never. Something happened over the weekend that caught my attention. Do you remember Jordan Montgomery? You may remember him from the World Series last year with Texas. You may remember him on the Yankees. You may remember him on the Cardinals. You may remember him as one of Boras's core 4 free agents last year, along with Chapman and Snell and Bellinger. You may remember that none of them got long-term deals, and you may remember that Jordan Montgomery fired Scott Boras earlier this season. You don't see this every day, what happened yesterday. Jordan Montgomery, the player, came out really hard against Boras, and it made headlines. Many of you correctly said that this would come up on the show today, and yes, it is. But again, for those of you who think you're never surprised by me, you may want to listen every day because once in a while you're going to be surprised. Do you know Jordan Montgomery has started 19 games and has a 6.44 earned run average? He's thrown 95 innings, won 8 games. He has not pitched well under any scenario. He signed a deal with the Diamondbacks late in spring training. And do you remember the deal that he signed? Do you remember the fact that it was a 1+1? He got 1 guaranteed year, and the second year becomes guaranteed if he makes a certain number of starts. It was like a vesting option. Jordan Montgomery said that he had a call with the Boston Red Sox during free agency because there was a conversation whether or not the Red Sox would have offered more than what the Diamondbacks offered. He said, "That's really all I know. It went good," he told the Boston Herald. I don't know. Obviously, Boras kind of butchered it. So I'm just trying to move on from the offseason and trying to forget it. What exactly did Boras butcher? Did you have a 5-year, $150 million offer? 5-year, $110 million offer? Did you have 4 years at 100? Can you be specific with whether or not the Red Sox offered you what maybe would consider to be a butchering? It's sort of like Snell saying, yeah, the Yankees offered me $150 million, but I knew I could do better. Uh-oh, I didn't do better. Way to go, Scotty. I'm just trying to figure out what the butchering was, because from where I'm sitting, Scott Boras got a number 8 starter paid like a number 2 starter. I believe that Jordan Montgomery should hand 5% of his $22 million deal to Scott Boras and say, I appreciate you. This is coming on the heels of Jordan Montgomery being moved to the bullpen. He lost his starting spot. Remember that black bag with pieces of paper in it? You know what else is in that bag? Players, contracts, not players. That'd be a very big bag and it wouldn't fit. It would give me backaches. Player contracts, terms, who's got vesting options, who's got player options, team options, what are the terms of the vesting options? Last week, Hector Neris got designated by the Cubs because they didn't want any of his options to vest next year's option. We absolutely have the right and did do that. We would stop players from getting options to vest if the player A was not performing or B, the team was not performing. Harder to win a grievance when the team stinks, but the player's good, and then you stop the player from playing. But do you think it's a coincidence that Jordan Montgomery's in the bullpen? Just out of curiosity. Do you know that his contract says that in 2025, he can get an extra $2.5 million if he gets to 23 starts? Well, he's at 19 starts right now. Why would the Diamondbacks ever allow him to start 4 more games and therefore throw $2.5 million down the toilet where he'd be getting paid $25 million instead of the 22.5 that he already vested into? I'm not sure I would have let him vest at all into 2025, but suffice it to say, he already vested at the first level, but these contracts contain different levels. Your contract vests at $20 million at 18 starts, but then it becomes $22 million at 20 starts, and then $24 million at 24 starts, and then $30 million at 28 starts. And the reason why you go up is a full season. If you're not hurt at the top of the rotation, you should count on getting about 33 starts. 30 starts is a full season. Way to go. You were not hurt. Everything's great. 20 starts means that you've missed approximately, call it 10 times through, which is almost 2 months, assuming you have a starter every 5 days. 10 times 5 is 50. That's 10 weeks. 50 days, that's 7 weeks, excuse me. About a month and a half. It's a full DL. The Arizona Diamondbacks had to, for grievance purposes, send Torey Lovullo out and Mike Hazen out, who's the GM, to talk to reporters. Because the reporters were going to ask, hey, what's the deal with Montgomery? A, what he said about Boras, but B, about him moving to the bullpen. Torey called the decision to move Montgomery to the bullpen agonizing. Agonizing. Why? Because you're saving $2.5 million by not letting him get to his next level of his vesting option? Or because of the fact that he stinks? Which part was agonizing to you? I've pushed Torey to make the best decisions for the team every single night to put us in a chance to win. Period. I don't care about anything else. I told him we'll deal with anything we have to. Here's a little note for you all. That's not at all how it works within the Diamondbacks or within any other organization. Yes, we're always trying to win every single game, though I've never seen anyone go 162-0. I've pushed our manager to make the best decisions for the team every single night. How does that happen? Do they meet pregame and he says to the manager, hey, listen, make good decisions. Like you're talking to your son going out at 17 years old on the town, make good decisions. Or you tell your daughter, be smart. Think that's what managers are told? Make good decisions. Never said that once to a manager. Hey, let's go over the decisions. What are we doing in this scenario, that scenario, when this happens, when that happens? You think that Mike Hazen just walks in and says, hey, go get him, Torey. Good luck.